Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon. It's an honor and privilege to welcome you all today to today's webinar. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Mariam Al-Riyami. I'm your moderator for today. I'm a sociologist here in MCBS, lecturer, Modern College of Business and Science. Our college is the first private college here in Oman and was first affiliated with the University of Missouri. We opened our doors in 1996. We are located in Muscat, the capital of Oman. The college has experienced tremendous growth and expansion since those early days. We've become a leading provider in higher education with international standing, offering undergraduate and graduate programs in business administration, information technology, public administration, and Islamic banking. MCBS is proud to be a leader in higher education in Oman. Our topic for today's webinar is particularly of interest for most of us who academics, especially seeking to get published. Dr. Belal Yousif is coming to us live from Queensland, Australia, to present on how to prepare your article for highly ranked journals. Before we begin, let me just tell you how you might be able to communicate with us. There is a question and answer box on your screen. If you have any questions, comments, issues, you can enter them there. And at the end of our presentation, we will get to those questions. So you can type at any point in time during the presentation, and inshallah, we'll get to them. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Yousif. Dr. Yousif is an associate professor at the College of Health Engineering and Sciences, University of Southern Queensland, Australia. Dr. Belal is a panel member at the Austrian Science Fund, National Science Foundation, and research councils in Great Britain. He is also editorial board member in several journals. In the interest of saving time and giving Dr. Yousif the most time possible to talk to us today, I'm going to jump straight to it and pass the screen over to him so he can talk to us about the topic for today, which is how to get yourself published in highly ranked journals. Thank you. Dr. Belal, it's up to you.
Thank you very much for attending this webinar, and I'm happy to share with you some of my past 25 years experience in research. Let me share with you some slides. Just a second here. Can you see the slides, Maria? All right. Yeah, so I try to make it as short as possible. So I was struggling actually to get my papers accepted when I start my research, and I figure out what is the mistakes I have gone through before and why I failed to publish my article at the first year of my research career. And I find out most of my PhD students and most of my colleagues actually, they don't know the key points on how to publish an article. Sometimes they do good work, good results, very nicely presented, but unfortunately the paper got rejected, especially when we're talking about high ranked journals. And after I got involved with very senior professors from America and from UK, and I learned from them a lot, and I got the clue what was the mistake. So I try to go to the point and show you some of the key points. Most of the staff or researcher, PhD student, they fail to consider when they write their articles or when they submit their articles. So let me start with, first of all, why we are looking for a high-ranked journal. First of all, this is your history. It's going to be your history, so it should be very well recognized. So I don't recommend any of my students or friends or colleagues to go with very low quality journals. There are thousands of journals. I believe in your area, whether you're IT or Islamic, whatever, there are hundreds of journals. So, but at the end, The ranked journal will give you the credit. The others, they actually will be a defect in your CV. So the more article you publish in rubbish journal or scam journals, the worse is going to be your CV. Just an advice from me. So always target the high rank journal. Don't look at the numbers. 1 articles 4 years better than 10 articles a year with low quality. So is it difficult and why? It could be difficult at the first attempt, maybe the first 30 attempts, 50 attempts to publish your articles. But afterwards, once you get to know why you have failed to publish the first one, you recognize, oh my God, yeah, it was a mistake. This is what I have done and I shouldn't do it. So it is not that difficult. It's consumed a lot of time, high critical thinking to come up with a good piece of articles, especially for high rank journal. So there are some key points where once you submit your articles, the editor straight away they look at those points. They don't look at your work, how many hours you spend, whether you conduct experiment or simulation, and how you present it. They don't look at this at all. The first glance they look at the articles. Number one is the title, whether it's attractive or not. If it is general title, I guarantee you the paper will be, if it's not rejected, major revision. Okay, if you select a title, it is not attractive, it is not in you, not interesting in your area, so forget it. Even if you spend 3 years of your experimental or your simulation work, so it's going to be not interested for the reader. So the editor looking for something interesting for the readers, okay, to get published in his journal. So he's not looking at your work and whether your work is perfect or not at this stage, at the first stage. So title, keywords, very important, and references. The third things, the editor will look at your references. Okay, is it new? Is it in the past 5 years within this range, or is it very old, 1990s, 70s, or 80s, or even 2010? It's old. Okay, high rank journal, they don't look at this. Once you go more than 5 years, they start doubting the novelty of the work straight away. So even though maybe your work is new, maybe it's not published before, but once you start putting an old citation, you're giving the doubt to the editor and the reviewer. Oh, my work is old. So don't try to go with this old citation. Try to go straight away to the new one, tackle the issues there, put your comment, argue with them, and show your motivation and significance of your work. This one, same thing for the reviewers. The reviewers, some of them, they are a bit what's called looking for certain particular things, but at the end, do your best. Don't worry, if you got major revision, that's fine. That means the paper is accepted, doesn't mean it's rejected. So the worst things, it is rejection. We're trying to avoid the rejection. Once you avoid the rejection, 80% the paper is going to be accepted, whether with major or minor or resubmit even. So that means there is an interest, there is a need for your articles, but it's not up to the standard, which is good. You should not feel bad about it. Okay, so the some of the reviewers also they look at certain things as well. The editor may be, okay, this article is suitable for my journal, it's interesting, it's nice, it's good, it's a new pass the management stage. So go straight away to the assigning the reviewers. Most of the students and my colleagues, they fail to select the good reviewers. Either they go with the reviewers very lousy, or they go with the reviewers like friends or relatives or whatever. They're trying to play this game, but this doesn't go with the editor, because in our side as an editor, once I look at the paper, I got about 1,000 reviewers. I don't care about you, whether you select 3 reviewers, 5 or 6 reviewers. I don't care about them. I may look at your selection, whether you are professional or not. Did you really select the good reviewers who are related to your topics or not? So it's a trick here. You need to select the reviewers which is in your area. Okay, don't be afraid. They will never give you rejection. If your work is good, they give you comments, and it's a must. The comment is the must because we are not perfect. Okay, whatever you write, whether you how many you send it for editor, whatever, at the end there is mistakes. There must be a mistake. There must be some comments from reviewer, from editor, from your colleagues, whatever. So don't get scared about the reviewers. Try to select the reviewers in your area. Okay, the reviewer which is related to your topics. I prefer to select the reviewer whom I cited in my article. Okay, I cited 10, I select those 10 because they know what I have done and they know what I'm arguing about. Okay, whether even if the paper is rejected, that's fine. They give me some clue about the future work. Yeah, you have done this one's already done, try to look at this point. So they give me another hope for another articles. So it doesn't matter. You get a professional comment, that's good. Now we're talking about rejection. Hopefully there is no rejection. If you follow some of the points which I'm gonna give it to you, I haven't got rejection, frankly, especially recently. If I follow those points, okay, some of my students, they submit their articles without my knowledge and they got rejected and come crying. At the end, I look at it, I say I would reject it. Why you didn't tell me about those points? Yeah, so this is the rejection is very rare if you really tackle those points. Major, minor revision, that means accepted. So straight away you get accepted without comments is very rare, very rare. Okay, there is, I haven't got any paper accepted without comments until now. Okay, even though I'm editor, when I look at the comments, sometimes small comment is considered as a comment. You need to do the revision and resubmit it and satisfy the reviewer needs. All right, so let me just shorten it up. As I mentioned, the body of the articles, whether you are in IT or whatever, engineering, I'm from engineering background, but I have looked at several articles from IT, from pharmacy, from medical, and more or less are the same. There are few key elements in the articles need to be there so the articles can be accepted in high ranked journal. As I mentioned previously, title is very important, interesting. Don't go with very general. The more generally with the title, the more possibility of the rejection you will get. Be specific, don't be afraid. Okay, this is very important. Keywords, straight away go to the keyword. What is your article talking about? Okay, don't give general keyword. Be specific as well, unless if the journal wants some general. The more general, the wider the reviewers we get as an editor. Okay, if you put general keywords, I will get 2,000 reviewers. If you go specific, I will get maybe 20, 30 reviewers in that area. Because the reviewer, when they sign with the editorial board, they select the keywords. And when you select the keywords, straight away the system bring me all those reviewers. Okay, so this is another trick part here. So selection of the keywords, that means you are selecting the reviewers. Okay, abstract, yeah, we don't put too much weight on the abstract at the beginning as a reviewer or editor. Okay, we may read only the motivation, but we don't actually judge the findings or the methodology at the first glance. Okay, so we just look straight away. Title, keywords, references are fine. Introduction, the second part. After all this one, the reviewer will look at the introduction, why you are going to this work. Okay, I don't want to know what you have done. I just want to know why you are doing this work. What is the importance? What is your contribution to the knowledge, to this journal? Okay, this journal is talking about, for example, I don't know you guys, whether IT, information technology, or something new system, or let's say ANN, neural networks, and there are thousands of papers in the neural network. What's the new you are contributing? This is what I'm looking for. References, past 5 years, and what is new you argue with those 5 years references. So this is the most important things in the introduction is the last paragraph, which is the motivation to the work. Okay, most of the students, they miss this. Okay, they put the literature as if it's a literature review. It is a literature review, but very summarized one, plus the motivation. You give me 10 articles, they did this, they did that, and there is a problem, there is issue, and you are going to solve those problems by this method, which gonna contribute. You have to state it, okay? Which gonna contribute to the knowledge in this area. So the reviewer will be happy with it. Methodology, if the reviewer very specialist in your area, so straight away he will go to the point and dig in the methodology whether you have followed the steps. But the methodology is not the editor job, so basically it's the reviewers. Okay, we go to the discussion, also the presentation and discussion of your data, of your result. All these three, it is not that important. Okay, even the introduction. The most important things is this: 80% of the writers, they miss this, which is the argument. You give me your thoughts, you say, okay, my article is good, my result is the best, I have done this, I have done that, my results show improvement 10%, 20%, 30%, and there is a need for the work. The question is why? What the other people they have done, what they missed. So you need to give your thoughts, which here is the critical thinking and the higher order thinking comes in. If you are a PhD student, you may struggle here, but if you finished your PhD and you're still not able to train yourself on this part, I advise you to read more articles and look at this argument, how they figure out. This is very, very important. So to avoid this problem and not to miss it, usually I advise my PhD student, come up with a new section, called it compare my current result with the previous reported works and why my result is better. I put this title for them. They struggle, maybe they take 1 week to write 1 page, okay, about this argument. I just remove the title and bring that section, put it in the articles. The articles become very nice, okay. The conclusion, again, once you come up with the argument and the discussion, definitely you will know what's going on. What is your contribution? What is your main findings? Don't give general conclusion, general findings, or there is improvement 10%, 20%, 30%, and so on. So the argument is, let's go back to the introduction. Why you are going to this work? What is the lack of information? I needed to find it in the introduction. Once you put it in the introduction, oh yeah, you tackle the problem, the gap in the research, the gap in the literature. Now you bring this one, put it in the abstract. So the last things actually we should write is the abstract. Once you finish the abstract, you put your keyword, then you put your title, and you close the loop. Okay, so in this case, if you any articles, whether solar energy, whether you're talking about IT, Islamic, or education, must have this. Whether you're gonna put your data in table, or your figure, or discussion, or survey, or workshop, anything, it must come with this. What is the need for your articles? What's the importance of it? How you argue with the literature review? What's your finding? Then, if you select this, you send it to the specific journal. Don't be scared. Send it to the specific journal. If you are in education, send it to a higher education journal. There are many good journals in education. If you are in IT, IEEE or whatever, all these section. Engineering as well, we have a lot of Elsevier journal, which is dealing with thousands of topics. So don't be scared of sending it to a specific. One of the common things with my friends Arab, we put too many numbers of authors. It's not good, okay? Because the first things we look at the number of articles. As a reviewer, Indian, Chinese, Middle East, okay? Look at the articles, there are 6 people in the articles, okay? I look at the work, does it really worth 6 people in that work? No, maybe 3, maybe 4 maximum. So avoid this, okay, as much as possible, because it's annoying. What comes to the reviewer, it's coming to the editor. When he look at it, straight away it got strange. What the hell? They are not professors. There are some articles. There are. I saw one articles. The first page, all authors. The second page, half of it only authors, and the rest of it's half page only this the articles. So all these one senior professors, they sit after a very high ranked what's called conference, and they come up with this section, and they all of them they contribute to this section. So we are not up to that level yet. So also this one, try to avoid it. Okay, don't. And some of the what's called high rank journal also they want ethical declaration. That's what each author has been contributing to those articles. So try to avoid it as well. I just straight away go to some examples before the time is running. I don't know what's the time now. So for example, if we look at the literature review, okay, for example, this one of my students, okay, he wants to discuss his work with the literature review, and he tried to jump from here to there, and he tried to agree, disagree, highly agreement. I said no, I don't like this. Come up with the chart. Say what chart? Yeah, put all the references. Okay, this one 2014. Put all the articles. Okay, the new one. Except there are some of them they are 2008 because there is no work has been done. Put all these things here. Put your data. Argue now. Argue with them. So don't be scared. Put as much as possible if they are related to your work. Okay, and all high rank journal. This one, these articles got the highest citation in the journal, which is considered the best journal in my area, materials and design, which ranks number A. Okay, so this one, it got the most high citation articles within, I think, 1 month. Okay, because of the number of citation has been done, the references I use, and also the high level of writing. But this one comes after 20 years experience. Okay, so we don't expect this one from PhD students or from fresh graduate students. So it takes time to get this skill. I just want to show it to you how difficult it is, but at the end you can pick a very good fruit out of it. Okay, we're talking about discussion, how we discuss our results. For example, for my work, I always get the references, okay, plus the results, plus the current results. Okay, so I have, for example, this all my work, and I put it in the article itself. Okay, try to cite your article. Don't be scared. Okay, even though you may feel, okay, maybe they are similar. If they are similar, no need to publish it. Stay for it. If they are different, the reviewer also clever and the editor clever. Straight away, your name is going to come in the system with all your publication, with the title. And we're going to see how much the similarity between the two articles. So at the end, you will be caught up. It's best to put your articles in your new articles. Okay, don't avoid this. Yeah, after so many years, you will get good ranked. Okay, whether in Google, ISI, ResearchGate, good number of articles. They asked me to be a guest editor in many high-ranked journals. Okay, but this is after very long time and struggling. Okay, to get this. Thank you very much. I will end up my talk now and see if there is any question from your side, guys. Thank you.
So, Dr. Yousif, you've shortened it quite a bit, and I think we've got. I just wanted to just let you know, because initially you thought there were just a few people attending. We've got 51 people attending and listening to you out there.
Okay.
Just so you know, yeah. And you still have time, so if there's anything else that you want to say in a little bit more detail, you can, or if you want to, through discussion. We already have a couple of questions that have been brought up, and that is about reviewers. And both questions is about selecting your reviewers. The first one is, are there professional reviewers who are paid to review articles? And is that and the second question is, how do you select a reviewer? And if you're referring to somebody, okay, would that author be open to reviewing your article? Is that something that they're open to doing?
I couldn't get your question, but in terms of...
Let me start with the first one. The first one is, how do you select your reviewer, and whether there are professional reviewers who get paid to do this job?
I know there is no paid. There is no payment. There is recognition. Now, some of the Elsevier journals, they give you certificates if the reviewer wants it, just to put it in their CV, but it has no value, frankly. We are doing it as colleagues. Okay. Yeah. Some of the Swiss journals, even though it's ranked very high, I believe they pay money for the reviewers, but I haven't come across those.
Okay. Yeah. And the second question is, how do you get in touch with the reviewers? And
no way. You will not find them. You cannot see the reviewer. You cannot talk to them. You will not know who are they.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no way, because of the as the editor, you need to hide even sometimes the information. Some of the journals, like some of the journals in the UK, we remove even the affiliation and the name of the authors.
Okay.
Yeah, with the high rank journal. Some they leave it, so it depends.
Okay. Recently, there's been an article published, actually 2019. I came across an article about predatory journals. I wonder if you might have some advice for especially academics that may not be as experienced on how to safeguard from predatory journals.
There is website in Australia. I don't know whether I will be able to have it for you, but all the spam journals are there. Okay, all of them. Okay. So any new journals, when we figure out there is a problem with it, we send it for checking. So the Australian government, the research departments, they will go with comprehensive review, and they will list it as a spam. Okay, and some people, they fail. Okay, with it, but to find out whether they are spam or not, I told you, just go to the high rank journal. Don't worry about the new journals. Look at the volumes. How many volumes? Is volume 1, 2, 3, 4? I doubt it. Okay, go to volume 50 and above. So they have mature and good experience. So these are the best things I advise you to go with.
Okay.
Yeah. And go with the higher recognized publisher, like Elsevier, Springer, American Society, IEEE, Australian Society, Canadian Society, British Society, all these things, they have high ranked and recognized journals. So you don't worry about the new ones.
Okay. I have a question. Can you suggest relevant tools which can be used to verify citations?
Sorry, what is the question?
Can you suggest any tools, I suppose, on the online or whatever, which can be used to verify citations, like programs and such?
What do you mean verify citation? I don't understand. To cite some references?
Check, yeah, to check on citations to make sure that they're authentic, I guess, yeah.
I don't know, but all the journals, they have the Turnitin software, and straight away we can see all the things is coming there, all the red stuff. Okay, whether there's copyright issues, but in terms of the references itself, the reviewer will look at the references and see whether these references are really recognized as a reference or not. So sometimes we put it in the comments, whether it's some student, they copy from the, not copy, I mean, they use the internet or Wikipedia as references. We reject this straight away. We need an articles to cite the articles, yeah, especially the articles which comes from the journal you are submitting to.
Okay.
That means you are very specific. Okay.
There are quite a few questions on reviewing and so on. Maybe it would be best if you can kind of explain what is the process of reviewing, okay? And you know, when does it happen? How does it happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, review for the editors is quite difficult, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
When we receive an articles, okay, and it's checked by the manager, and the
Mm-hmm.
manager pass it, whether it's a new English is good, format is okay. So this is the first check. It comes by the secretary or the manager of the editor. Then it goes to the editor.
Mm-hmm.
As the editor, once we click on the articles on the title, I told you before, we got about, depends, but about 100 reviewers.
Mm-hmm.
Suggest the system will suggest this 100 reviewers. We
Mm-hmm.
don't look at the author suggested reviewer. We look at the system, what the system suggests based on the keywords you selecting.
Mm-hmm.
So when you submit your article, you're gonna select a few keywords, and this keyword will bring for us as an editor few reviewers in that area. We keep sending an email. We send an email for 3. We believe they are good in the area. We check them. They are true in the area. They have some good articles in the area. Then we send the invitation to review the articles you are submitting. Some of the reviewers, they don't reply. They are busy, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Within 1 week, if they didn't reply, I send it for another 2-3 reviewers. At that time, it made 2 weeks, 3 weeks to get 3 reviewers really good and accepted. Then we decline the rest and we keep waiting for the 3. Some of the journals, they give them 1 month, some very quick, 1 week, some they open it for 3 months, 6 months. Okay, so it depends on the number of issues. This is one of the things you need to look at. The journals, even though it's high standard, high ranked, but the number of issue maybe every 2 weeks. Okay, we have some doubt about this. So usually once a month is okay. 1 issue every 3 months is okay. So that one is very difficult. Okay, some people, some journals, they have only 12 issues. So that one is very challenging, and each issue only 10 articles. So can you imagine it's about 120 articles from the whole world, from all the people. So that one is very, very difficult. So yeah, it depends on the journals. If they are quick, they need the reply from the reviewers as quick as possible. Some, they don't care. I need high quality. If they have limited number of issues and number of articles to be accepted, that one very, very challenging journals. Yeah, so you should wait in average 6 months for high rank journal to get a feedback from the reviewers and send it to the author, usually plus minus 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody's asking, is it true that publishing in social science journals is more difficult than in science journal? What's your point of view on this?
Well, everything is difficult and everything is easy. If you know the key points, I told you, my father-in-law is professor in social science. Okay, and he has also he's argued with me. Oh, it's very difficult. You have high ranked journals and articles because you was very easy compared with me. I'm doing something I don't know in social science or something. I told him, okay, just give me one of your articles. Let me have a look at it. I look at his article. I told him, I will reject it. Why? I said, just put the motivation. Show me what is the novelty of the work.
Right.
Why you are contributing these articles to the human beings. If you put this one, I believe any article can be published, because I have come across with some people from pharmacy background. They show me their work. Once I look at it, I say, you have done very good work, 3 years work, very nice data, but the flow of the articles, the interest is not there, the motivation is not there, the title is not there. it should be rejected straight away. Or they got angry. And you say, okay, just sit with me for 5 minutes. Do some tricks here and there, change the references, update the references, put some paragraphs, why we are doing the work, the motivation, and it got not accepted straight away. It's got major and so on and so on. So it takes some time, whether it's social. Some of the people from management and statistics also, they complain. They say it's very difficult. We publish article, but you are as an engineer, it's very easy. I say, no, we look at you also easy. So it's nothing like easy and difficult. If you have these key points, then it's fine.
Say you wanted to submit an article. Is there a way to enlist somebody to review it before it gets submitted to the journal?
Well, not review it, just read it for you. For me, even at this age and this stage, before I submit an article, if I have any PhD student, I just give him a copy. I give my wife a copy. I give my friend a copy. Please just read it, find the mistake before I submit it. Not necessarily to be a reviewer. You put in your mind the articles when anyone read it should understand it. Okay, and somehow it's not that very general. It could be sometimes specific, but at the same time, the way you are writing it, don't make it so complicated, so it's annoy the reviewers. Make it the flow is easy, straight away. What's going on? What you need to do? What the problem you are tackling? Okay, so in this case, you cannot send it to a reviewer, but I advise you just give it to your friends. Let them read it. If they understand it, that's good. If they don't understand it, that means it's a problem. Yeah. I remember one of my friends, it's funny things. He said, I read about 100 articles. None of them I understand except one. I say, why you understand that one? Because I'm the only one who wrote it. So you're crazy. Because he wrote his article, he understand it. The rest he didn't understand it. This one at the first stage of the PhD. Yeah, it was funny. Yeah. So you need to train yourself. It's a learning process. It's nothing like I give you this key point. That doesn't mean straight away your article will be published. You need to get rejected few times to learn. Okay, what is your mistakes? So it's a learning process, and there is no harm to get rejection. Don't get upset. It's fine. Yeah.
Another question is, do they apply a blind policy when they're reviewing the journal?
As I mentioned, it depends on the journal. Okay, some of the journal, we remove the author's name, affiliation, everything, and we send it for the reviewer. And some, they don't mind. Okay. So for some, even with the same publisher, Elsevier, okay, some of the journals, they insist to remove the affiliation and the name, and some, they don't mind. And I don't tell you that there is no what's called a professional opinion from reviewers. Sometimes it's become unprofessional. Okay, but the editor will interfere. If we got three opinions from 3 different reviewers, one of the selection of the reviewers, we don't select them from one country, okay, or from one region. We select one from Asia, one from America, one maybe New Zealand or Australia. So we take 3 opinions from different part of the world. If 3 of them agree the article should be rejected, we have to reject it. If 2 said rejected and 1 accepted, we look at it deeper and see why they're rejecting it. And so on. If 2 accepted and 1 rejection, why this guy he rejected? So sometimes we omit some of the reviewer feedback, not completely, but we have the final decision as an editor whether to consider rejection or major or minor. So it's not that, don't put it in your mind that the people, they look at your name, whether your name is Abdullah or Chris, doesn't matter. Okay. Or your name is Indian or Chinese. No, don't look at this. But we look at your background. How many articles you have submitted in this journal, or how many articles you have published before, and which kind what quality of articles you have submitted. So that's why I told you go with higher rank journal, because we're gonna see what the rubbish has been published before. So if you publish in low quality journal and suddenly you want to go with high rank journal, we're gonna see it. Okay, so all the publications comes. Yeah.
You said something very interesting that was, you said you were talking to some of your PhD students to help them when it came to, you know, writing what is their contribution, contribution and so on. You said something about compare the work with previous. Can you just repeat that one more time? Because I think that's a very, very important paragraph to include in when you're writing an article. Can you just
definitely, it's a must. It's a must. Your contribution, once you write the introduction, in the introduction you stated that there is no work has been done in this area and there is a need for this work, right?
Yeah.
Or there is an argument between the literature review whether this one is right or this one is wrong.
Yeah.
I want to see now your contribution in the results.
Okay.
Now you present your result, this one up, this one down, this one good, whatever. Now you stated in the introduction there is an argument in the literature. What's your point now? Where do you stand? I want to know. Where do you stand from the references you cited in the introduction? I prefer to bring all the references in the introduction I put in the resultant discussion. So I argue with them there. Okay. Some of the even senior writers still they did a mistake. They cite high number of references in the introduction, 20, 30. While I look at the resultant discussion, only 3 references there. What the hell? Why you bring those 17s? If they are not relevant, why you put them? Just to get high number of citation. So this is one of my key strength point to reject the articles if I'm not happy with it. So you cite 50 articles, but in your discussion and result, you cited only 2 or 3. No. Why you bring those people? So at the end, your discussion, your arguments, it's the most important part to show the motivation in the introduction, justify your conclusion, justify your title, your keywords, and so on and so on. So this part is the most important. So the easiest way for the beginner, for my PhD student, I say, okay, go come up with a table.
Right.
These references, you cited 10. Oh, put this 10. Put their findings. Put your findings, your comments. Once they put it in a table, once they put it, once they put it in a table, okay, now put it in a text. You just summarize them and put them in a text. It's difficult, it may take a week to write half a page, but at this half page, it's the point of accepting your article.
You presented a slide where you were looking at all the citations, okay? This strategy that you've told us in terms of your conclusion, discussion, etc. Can you apply the same strategy to that slide where you have a graph of all the different literatures that are being cited in the, previous one, yeah.
This one, yeah.
This one, yes. Tell us again, how would you kind of organize your what's your strategy on what to do with your literature here?
Literature review as a PhD student, so talking about PhD students, or you're talking about article?
Even articles, I would say, in your introductory paragraph.
Usually the articles, if I know what's the problem, straight away I go to references I know.
Yeah.
But talking about PhD students, which is actually very, very hard part. I believe the literature review is the hardest to get the gap, and the motivation is the worst. Yeah. So again, what I have done, what I learned from my supervisor, I come up with 3 pages of A1, the big one, 1 meter, all small tables. I put about 500 references in each table. On each table, I categorize those references. This is done this work, this is done this work, this is done this work, and this is this finding, and this is finding. When I come up with these 3 pages, I still have it. Okay, this one 2001, 2002. Okay, that one, it helped me a lot. It helped me a lot. Until now, I'm teaching my PhD student not to do such crazy things, rather than to organize their references, categorize them. Once you categorize them, whether in this figure, the one you see now, like this figure, I can straight away, if I find any material here, for example, this one or this one, straight away I can straight away go to the references, just one click, because I'm using EndNote, okay, or you can use another software. Straight away I can go to the reference and I have it in the library. Okay, so to come up with this figure, it may take 2 months, 3 months. Okay, to come up with 10,000 articles, come up with those numbers, then you get straight away to the point. It's very huge work. So in terms of your question about the literature review and introduction, because I am very deep in my area, so I know where I'm going. So my students, they don't get lost. I straight away show them the way. But if you are a PhD student or a staff and you don't know where you're going and you have some data, I advise you not to go with your data anymore. Take a break, go to the literature review, go to the past 10 years, see where you are from those 10 years and what you can do, whether you start fresh or make use of the data you have to represent it in the current era. Okay, some of the stuff, they have data 20 years ago and they believe it's still alive. It's dead. Okay, we have to accept it. It's dead and it's not accepted, and don't try it. Don't waste your time and dig in the dead people to get them life. Okay, so yeah, try to update your references. Okay, from time to time, update your literature review. Okay, update always. There is an update in new area in your previous area. Okay, new technique, new technology, new materials, and new strategy, new policy, new regulation, which direct the research in a different direction. Yeah.
Okay. There's 2 things. Just as an aside, if you are a PhD student and you're required to sift through a lot of theory, and that theory comes through history, it's old work. Like, I don't know, if you're in sociology and you're reading Weber or you're reading Gramsci or you're reading about that kind of theory, that still needs to be in there in your introduction, in your literature review, doesn't it?
Depends on the supervisor. For me, I don't want it.
Okay.
I don't want it. I can show you. You know, this my PhD students.
Yeah.
Okay, she finished in 2 years and a half. How many pages? I don't want too many things. Go straight away to the point. Just tell me what you want to do.
Right.
Okay,
right.
I this is 120 pages only.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't want to go to the history. Yes, the history, we learn from it. We put them, but this one we called it common knowledge. Okay, if it is common knowledge, we don't want to see it in your dissertation. For me, some stuff, some supervisors, they like their PhD student to be 300 pages, 400 pages. But in terms of articles, if you look at the articles and you want to send an articles with high rank journal, straight away you got rejected. You may put one statement, 2 statements in the introduction as a background, but you cannot relate your work to those old ones. Okay, many articles, they cite those old ones and they are recent articles, 2020, 2019. Use those articles. Why you want to go back?
Right.
So that one, the background, it is the background, but you cannot cite textbook in your article.
All right. Doctor, there's one more, and I think this is an important question, especially for this particular individual who is a PhD student. He or she, I'm not sure who it is in the final stages, I assume, in terms of analyzing their results, etc. And he's trying to figure out how to work on his thesis. So is it possible to use my thesis title to use for my research paper is what he's asking.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Your thesis
doesn't-
title doesn't matter. Your thesis title, you can use it, but usually the thesis we can come up with at least 3 articles for PhD
Yeah.
students. So your dissertation title shouldn't be limited to 1 article, frankly. So maybe a little bit general, the dissertation, while the article is going to be more specific. In terms of discussion, as I told you before, use the references in your literature review, in your discussion. Okay, don't go away. Don't bring in your references. This is defects in your dissertation or in your articles. Once you bring a new citation in the resultant discussion and it is not in the literature review, it gives us a doubt. Okay, why you bring the new ones in the discussion while in the literature review only the old ones? Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Belal. I really appreciate that because a lot of us are trying to get published, and you made it seem quite really easy, almost. Let's see if we can get it done then.
It's just time consuming, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's just learning a process. Don't get upset with the rejection. It's fine. Yeah.
Thank you very much for speaking to us today. We really appreciate that.
No
And I just want to remind everybody that we are continuing with the webinar series. We will conclude here for today. And just join us again every week. We've got some really interesting and useful webinars for you guys to learn from. So we look forward to seeing you again maybe next week. Right? You can follow us on Instagram. Find all the information on Instagram. I think Dr. Hudayfa has a few words that he wants to say.
Yes, Ms. Mariam, thank you for you and Dr. Belal as well. And this webinar is going to be one of series webinars. Inshallah, we'll meet Dr. Belal in the future again with another webinar, a little bit, how to say, not advanced as the one we go. We have a young and people who don't know anything about research, like new fresh students, master students who are really willing to publish, but they don't know how to start. So I wish that's going to be in coming, I would say, near future, inshallah. And thank you very much, Dr. Belal, for your time.
No
and thank you, Dr. Mariam, and all technical teams there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Arif. All righty. We'll catch you later. Bye.
Catch you later.
Sana.